All right, I'm going to do the read aloud for the test. Number 1, which of the following court cases declared that busing across district lines to obtain integration was legal? A, Regents of the University of California versus Bach. B, Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka. C, Gideon versus Wainwright. D, Swan versus Charlotte Mecklenburg Board of Education. 2, New federalism and new revenue sharing were ways in which Richard Nixon, A, received state funds to the federal government, B, collected taxes on the American people, C, distributed federal power to state and local governments, or D, gave money to the poor. 3, which of the following events did Richard Nixon get caught spying on the Democratic Party, committed illegal acts, and with the release of his edited videotapes led to his resignation? A, McCarthyism, B, strategic arm limitation talks, C, Watergate, or D, détente? Number 4, what event is pictured to the right? A, peaceful protest against the war in Vietnam. B, violent protest against gender discrimination in America. C, civil rights march on Washington, D.C. Or D, violent protest against the Vietnam War. Number 5, an influential member of the labor leader for Hispanic Americans in California who helped start the United Farm Workers Organization Committee was A, Flores Mendoza, B, Cesar Chavez, C, Oscar Franco, D, Juan Valdez. Number 6, what did Rosa Parks do that led to a year-long boycott in Montgomery, Alabama? A, she would not leave the lunch counter until she obtained service. B, she used a whites-only public restroom. C, she demanded certain school privileges for her children. D, she refused to give up her seat in a bus to a white passenger. Number 7, the Chernobyl nuclear disaster occurred in the former Soviet Union. Where did a similar environmental disaster that leaked radiation occur in the United States? A, Browns Ferry. B, Grey Daw Island. C, Sharon Harris. D, 3 Mile Island. Number 8, which of the following court cases involved the issues of affirmative action and reverse discrimination? A, the Regents of University of California versus Bach. B, Brown versus Board of Ed of Topeka. C, Gideon versus Wainwright. D, Swan versus Charlotte Mecklenburg Board of Education. Number 9, which invention greatly affected the election of 1960 because of presidential debates between JFK and Richard Nixon? A, the radio. B, space satellites. C, computer. D, the television. In his domestic program calling for the building of a great society, President LBJ wanted to help what group of people? A, women. B, wealthy industrialists. C, the youth in America. Or D, the poor. Number 11, what is significant about the book Silent Spring by Rachel Carson? A, it exposed the bad usage of pesticides and environmental harm in America. B, describes the bad sanitation in the food industry. C, it marked the modern-day women's rights movement. D, exposed illegal acts of Watergate. Number 12, which of the following slogans reflects JFK's goal of space exploration, volunteerism, and civil rights? A, fair deal. B, dynamic conservatism. C, new frontier. D, great society. Number 13, the amendment or law pictured to the right targeted federally funded education programs and focused on college sports. The purpose of this law was to end which of the following? A, equality for all African Americans. B, gender or sex discrimination towards women. C, removing Japanese Americans from internment camps. Or D, labor unions for women. Number 14, which event organized by Martin Luther King Jr. started as a result of Rosa Parks being arrested and is considered to be the event that was the spark of the civil rights movement in the South? A, the Civil Rights March. B, Birmingham race riots. C, Montgomery bus boycott. Or D, Little Rock crisis. Number 15, regarding Betty Friedan writing The Feminine Mystique. What is significant about the book? A, it exposed the bad usage of pesticides and environmental harm in America. B, it described the bad sanitation in food industry. C, it sparked the modern-day civil women's rights movements. Or D, exposed the illegal acts of Watergate. Number 16, which of the following statements would be made by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? A, it is true that the movement has reached the point where we must abandon nonviolence. B, when the threats are beyond your tolerance, use your fist, not a gun. C, only nonviolence will succeed in the long run to achieve equality. D, there will always be room for different leaders with different approaches. Number 17, the right of privacy, whether it be founded in the 14th Amendment's concept of personal liberty and restrictions upon state action, as we feel it is, or as the district court determined in the Ninth Amendment, reservation of the rights of the people is broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether or not to terminate her pregnancy. Which court case is the following referring to? A. Miranda v. Arizona. B. Brown v. Board of Ed. C. Gideon v. Wainwright. D. Roe v. Wade. Number 18. Who was the first African American to serve as a justice on the United States Supreme Court? A. Clarence Thomas. B. Thurgood Marshall. C. James Meredith. D. Martin Luther King Jr. Number 19. What was the common goal of the sit-in and the Freedom Riders? A. To seek legal remedies to inequality. B. To end segregation in public areas such as restaurants and restrooms. C. To end segregation in public schools. D. To force segregationists to respond violently. Number 20. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, A. Banned discrimination on the basis of race in public places. B. Abolished the poll tax. C. Gave African Americans the right to vote. Or D. Abolished slavery. Number 21. Which of the following would not have been a belief of the Nation of Islam? A. Assimilation into society. B. Self-respect and self-defense. C. Separation into society. D. Black nationalism. Number 22. Which Great Society program provided government-funded health insurance for the elderly? A. Medicare. B. Vista. C. Head Start. D. Medicaid. Number 23. What was the goal of the civil rights activists in what became known as the Freedom Summer? A. Protest segregated restaurants and bus stations. B. End segregation in public schools. C. Protest segregation in the military. D. College students came to register African Americans to vote. Number 24. The energy crisis in the 1970s caused by the embargo placed on the United States by OPEC led to the creation of A. The Department of Homeland Security. B. The Department of Energy. C. Environmental Protection Agency. D. Warren Commission. Number 25. All of the following are events that helped the modern-day women's rights movement except which one? A. Title IX. B. Feminine Mystique. C. Civil Rights Act of 1964. Or D. The Equal Rights Amendment. Number 26. The governor of Alabama, who tried to prevent African American students from attending the University of Alabama and had to be removed by JFK, was A. James Meredith. B. James Farmer. C. George Wallace. Or D. Richard Nixon. Number 27. The hippie movement, whose capital was Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco, started in the 1960s and was also called A. Women's rights. B. Counterculture. C. Camp David rights. Or D. Suburbia. Number 28. Which of the following is not an example of a domestic policy achievement of Lyndon Johnson?